Sometimes the market gives you a setup that looks almost too perfect. The location is right, the pattern is clean, the entry is obvious, and when you see it forming, part of you starts thinking, this might actually be an easy trade. But if you have been trading long enough, you know something important. When a trade looks too easy, that's usually when the market starts testing your patience. And that's exactly what happened to me today. Because the setup looked clean, the entry made sense, everything about the trade felt straightforward. But what happened after the entry is the part that makes trading such a psychological game. Let me show you the setup. This is Palantir on the 1 minute chart. When the market opens today, price is sitting above yesterday's low. Not too close to it, but also not too far. That's important for me because when price is somewhere in the middle area, it usually means the market hasn't committed to a direction yet. It's what I consider neutral territory. And when the market is neutral, the best thing to do is simply wait and watch what structure forms. So that's exactly what I did. For a while, price just moved sideways. But then something interesting starts happening. Price begins forming 3 pushes up into the same area. Each time it gets to this level here, it stalls. It can't break through. At the same time, the lows start creeping higher. So now what we have is a compression pattern. Resistance holding above in this area here. This created a flag pattern right under the resistance level here. And when patterns start compressing like this, it usually means the market is preparing for a breakout. At this point, the structure becomes very clear. You can see the market running out of space here because it touches 1, 2, 3, 4 touches on the top. And eventually the pattern breaks to the downside here. That's where I take the trade, right at the break of the structure. Exactly where the white arrow is on the chart. No anticipation, no guessing, just waiting for the pattern to actually break. Once the trade is on, my job is simple. I let the trade work because once I enter, there's nothing left to manage. It's either going to work or it's not. And this is where things get interesting because right after the entry, nothing dramatic happens. The market doesn't collapse immediately. It doesn't give a fast move. Instead, price starts doing something that can be very uncomfortable for traders. It hesitates. It moves around. It doesn't immediately reward the entry. And this is the moment where most traders start questioning themselves. Was that really the right trade? Did I enter too early? Is this about to reverse? Because when a setup looks this obvious, traders often expect the move to happen instantly. But markets don't move based on what feels obvious. They move based on liquidity and probability. so the trade stays open. And the whole trade ends up lasting an hour. Like you can see here, it lasts an hour. It goes down here, which is actually a good reminder of something important. Not every trade is fast. Some trades take time to develop. So the biggest lesson from today's trade is simple. Just because a setup looks obvious doesn't mean the market is going to move the way you expect. Sometimes the market will move slowly. Sometimes it will hesitate. Sometimes it will test your patience. And this is where trading becomes less about analysis and more about discipline. Because the job of a trader isn't to predict exactly what will happen next. The job is simply to recognize when probability is on your side and then allow the trade to play out. That's it. You don't control the speed of the move. You don't control the outcome. You only control whether or not you follow your process. And the trade end up being all the way down here and then reverse. So I will leave you guys with this. Trades like this are a good reminder that trading is rarely dramatic. Most of the time it's quiet, it's slow, and sometimes it even feels boring. But consistency in trading doesn't come from exciting trades. It comes from repeating the same process over and over again, waiting for the right location, waiting for structure, waiting for confirmation, and then taking the trade without needing to know exactly what will happen next. Because in the end, trading isn't about certainty, it's about probability. And the only thing we can really control is whether we stay disciplined enough to follow the process. And as always, process over profits and discipline over dopamine. Thanks for watching.